the way you dealt with it.
Imagine a small nation surrounded by adversaries, knowing that its very existence could be wiped out in a single moment. What would that nation do to ensure its survival? Enter the SAMPSON option, a policy that Israel is rumored to follow. Named after the biblical figure Samson, who brought down a Philistine temple on himself and his enemies, this doctrine suggests that if Israel ever faces an existential threat, it might resort to using its nuclear weapons as a last-ditch defense. Israel has never officially confirmed possessing nuclear weapons, yet it's widely believed to have a significant arsenal. The secrecy surrounding Israel's nuclear capabilities only adds to the intensity of this policy. Could the Samson option be the ultimate deterrent against annihilation, or does it risk further destabilizing an already volatile region? Let's delve into the history, the geopolitics, and the real-world implications of this strategy. How did this policy come about, and what does it mean for Israel and the world?
Okay. Let's see.
Who really presents the biggest nuclear threat to the world? Iran, members of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, who cooperate with the International Atomic Energy Agency, or Israel, who refuse to sign the treaty and refuse to even admit they have nukes? Let's consider the nuclear weaponry Israel is believed to have. Up to 400 atomic and hydrogen nukes, including thermonuclear weapons in the megaton range. A range of systems, including neutron bombs, tactical nukes, and suitcase nukes. Delivery mechanisms, including Jericho intercontinental ballistic missiles with a range of 11,500 kilometers, and offshore second strike capabilities using submarine-launched nuclear-capable cruise missiles. Whilst Iran has consistently denied developing nukes, Israel has repeatedly threatened the world with theirs. Israel operates a strategy known as the SAMPSON option, a policy in which any threat to Israel will be responded to with massive nuclear retaliation. Samson is the biblical figure who destroyed a Philistine temple, killing himself and thousands of Philistine enemies. An Israeli official is quoted in Seymour Hersh's book as declaring, "We can still remember the smell of Auschwitz and Treblinka. Next time, we'll take all of you with us." General Moshe Dayan, a leading promoter of Israel's nuclear program, stated, "Israel must be like a mad dog, too dangerous to bother." Martin van Cruyfeld, a professor of military history at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, said, "Most European capitals are targets for our Air Force. We have the capability to take the world down with us, and I can assure you that that will happen before Israel goes under." Israeli whistleblower Mordechai Vanunu alleged that Israel blackmails the world with its ability to bombard any city all over the world, and not only those in Europe, but also those in the United States. Israel's threats to preemptively attack other countries have increased since Iran began enriching uranium for its nuclear energy program. Whilst it's unlikely Israel seriously believes Iran would attack them, Iran knows it would likely be obliterated if it dared to attack Israel with any form of weaponry. Israel cannot tolerate the possibility of a nuclear-armed Iran. Any challenge to Israel's nuclear hegemony could weaken its ability to use the nuclear threat in order to hold on to stolen Palestinian land. A nuclear-armed Iran might see Israeli citizens leave the country and its occupied territories. Investment could decline, reducing the finances needed to fund and maintain Israel's illegitimate expansion. Israel's large stockpile of nuclear weapons, and the fact that many high-profile Israelis have declared that the country is quite prepared to use them if threatened, should be of great concern to everyone. Israel, and their neocon and Zionist allies in the US government, pose a much graver threat to world peace than Iran.
Okay. So that's that. You know, the Samson option. That's what these devils are going to resort to. They don't have a choice. Okay, let's read
Hey
it.
everyone, welcome back. David in History for the Ages. So what is the Samson option? Well, as you can see from this image, it's not a good one. And this has to do with an idea that Israel has to deter any attempt to destroy its civilization. So let's kind of break this down. So Israel, we know, has a nuclear arsenal. It was established probably around 1966, 1967. Officially, we don't have like an exact timeline of when and how many bombs, nuclear weapons Israel has, but it's estimated anywhere from 100 to maybe 400 weapons, ICBMs, nuclear bombs on submarines. And as you can see on this map here on the left, you know, everything in green are basically nations around Israel, right? Predominantly Muslim nations. And Israel's a little sliver there you could see in red. And not all, but several of these nations have often called for the destruction of the state of Israel. And so the Samson option is very simple. Israel's policy is they will never use a nuclear bomb first. However, if there's an existential threat to their existence and there's a chance that Israel will be wiped off the map, then yes, they will use that as a deterrent, right? It is kind of a bit crazy because I can't even think of another nation off the top of my head that so many nations literally just want to wipe off the map, right? There are people who say we need to change a regime here, a regime there, but not wipe an entire nation off the map. So can it actually happen, right? Well, you know, if you follow the Cold War, you know, many people know Cold War. We had the nuclear age, 1945, of course, atomic bomb. By 1952, we have hydrogen bombs. And during the Cold War, there was what's called MAD, Mutual Assured Destruction. The Soviet Union had weapons, the United States had weapons, other nations did as well, and neither side was going to use it because they knew it would just destroy everything. That was kind of the deterrent. But the thing is, there was never a time that both sides said, hey, or even one side said, let's wipe the United States off the map. Let's wipe the Soviet Union off the map. Yes, there was talks about changing regimes, changing governments, but not this kind of existential destruction. And it was still pretty scary, even during the Cold War. Now what you have is a situation with Iran. And on this map, what you see here is how for a very long time, Iran has fought this proxy war against Israel, using various powers from Gaza, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and so forth to attack. And recently, they just fired a whole barrage of various drones and missiles at Israel that were intercepted. And so there have been many Iranian leaders who have openly called for the destruction of the state of Israel. And so the question is, would they, if they have the capabilities, attack Israel first? They've already been attacking them through these proxy wars. And even without nuclear weapons, Iran has a big arsenal that can hurt them. But with nuclear weapons, in Iran, does Iran have nuclear weapons or not? They're definitely developing them. How close they are, again, is nobody's 100% sure. But the question is, when they do get them, would they use them? So the bottom line is this, and one of the reasons I talk about this is the Samson option is important because it shows us that events that could deal with Israel are not, you know, people go, well, what do I care? Well, you should care, because if Israel's ever destroyed or wiped off the map, as so many nations want to do, it's going to have a massive domino effect. You know, then Israel's going to maybe have to defend itself with nuclear weapons. Then what happens? And it could lead to global catastrophe. So this is one reason I tell people you got to kind of be aware of what's going on there. Understand that at the end of the day, Israel's not going anywhere. They've got the nuclear weapons. They have to have a little nation to live. And so if people kind of go to that direction of wanting to destroy them, the end game is that Samson option, which is not good for anybody. So at least maybe you're familiar with it. I don't know if you've ever heard the term before, but those are a few thoughts on that. And, of course, I have a lot of other topics on Israel and the history of the Middle East and Iran and so forth, and all sorts of stuff on the Manhattan Project, if you were interested in that.
No.
A bunch of good stuff on my channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Please, share, like, all the good stuff. Everyone.
So anyway, I just wanted to, let you know this is what these goddamn devils are going to plan on doing, by any means necessary. Okay. This is what this is. They don't have any. They're not going to have a choice. Okay, they're talking about Israel's going to destroy Iran, but it's not going to work. Okay, this is not what the Most High wants. Okay. Anyway, all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kakodash. Shalom.